Hello all, I am A Talking Sock, and I am joined today by Nintendo Hero to discuss what might end up being a Nintendo Direct in the month of June. How are you doing, Nintendo Hero?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to talk about some non-E3, but also kind of E3, whatever this season of Nintendo announcements is.
Right. It's, nothing's been confirmed, but considering that, for as long as E3 has existed and for as long as Nintendo Directs have existed, Nintendo has brought some, cycle of news in the month of June. It's, nothing's been announced, but at this point I'm sort of afraid that they're going to do what they've sort of been doing recently and just sort of announce it less than 24 hours in advance and just go straight into it,
Yeah, usually it's like, Direct tomorrow, no time to actually do anything with that information, but,
Yep, exactly. And, and all the cool kids are doing it, so, why don't we do it too?
Exactly.
Or that is to say, I've invited a cool kid onto my show so that we can discuss it.
Yeah, glad to be here. Your videos are awesome, so super cool to be
thanks
on
for
here.
saying so. Thank you. All right. Would you like to start us off, or shall I, with our predictions?
I can start, sure. I got a big list here of ideas for E3. I always have ideas. So the first one that I have, I don't know if it's very realistic, but I've seen a lot of chatter about it online. And for me, it feels like it's time for a new one, which is Tomodachi Life.
Ooh, boy.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird pick, but I feel like with Switch Sports coming out recently and they kind of been moving away from Mii's, you would think that they are done with Mii's for a while, but I'm always trying to predict the unpredictable because you never know with Nintendo what they're going to do. So I think it would be a totally out of left field moment to have a Tomodachi Life, either a port or a new game that focuses on Mii's. So, yeah, that's what I want to see.
Yeah, no, I'm actually in agreement with you. That's not one of my own predictions, but that is something I've said before. I do think Tomodachi Life is going to come to the Switch, before they move on to another console or whatever. It's, it just makes sense. Tomodachi Life was a smash hit, actually. It's like one of Nintendo's best-selling franchises, so, And the fact that they brought over Miitopia, yeah, exactly. Miitopia wasn't as popular, so, maybe that was a test run, garner some hype for Mii's and the new customization engine or whatever,
And the fact that the Miitopia port was so, the visuals were so upgraded, so I feel like they probably know what they're doing at this point. I think it was Grezzo who did that remaster.
Yes.
I think it's possible they could have just launched right into remaking Tomodachi Life.
That's a good prediction. That's a great one to start off with. Real wacky. My predictions this time around are mostly safe. I've obviously got some, wild hopes, as I tend to have, but, it's never a good idea to go in
That's the fun
expecting
stuff.
That sort of thing. I think the wackiest prediction I have is that I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're finally going to see Pikmin 4.
Ooh, dangerous.
Yeah, I know. There's the whole infamous Miyamoto had said in 2015 or whatever that it was almost done or near completion, something like that. The Nintendo group that work on Pikmin games, EPD 10, they haven't had an original game since Super Mario Maker 2. So, it's been long enough that we should hear about what they've, been working on next. And here's hoping it's Pikmin 4,
I think, especially with Pikmin 3 Deluxe, that seems like Nintendo kind of testing the waters. I feel like, they're seeing how the interest in Pikmin is. And I think that game sold decently, so...
Yeah, better than any other Pikmin game as far as I'm aware, yeah. I don't have any, particular hopes for Pikmin 4 other than it existing at this point. I mean, obviously, as long as they stick to the formula and have some great world design, great character design, online multiplayer for Bingo Battle, I'm set.
My next prediction, this one's pretty safe. I'm guessing you have this on your list as well, but the next wave of Mario Kart 8 Booster Course Pass tracks.
Yeah.
Man, that is a long
Is that
name.
the official name? I don't know. I don't know these things.
I think so, yeah. I'm guessing we'll see that because, they said there's going to be, just so many courses in total, and they're going to be rolling them out until 2023. So it's about time we get another batch of courses. I don't have a full list of tracks I'd like to see, but obviously I'd like to see Woohoo Loop or Maka Woohoo come back.
I figured you might. Yeah.
And then Koopa Cape, Maple Treeway. I'm a big Wii fan, so that would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm a casual fan of Mario Kart. I think it's fun enough, but and I love a good racing game as well. But it's not my favorite Nintendo racer. But I am happy, beyond happy for the Mario Kart player base that they get more tracks, to chew on. It's good for them, good for all. I actually did also predict Mario Kart 8 DLC, but my prediction specifically is I bet we're going to see a lot of DLC. Like Mario Kart 8 is pretty safe. I think we'll hear about Mario Strikers, maybe Switch Sports, maybe even Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Like, I have a feeling that a lot of DLC updates will probably be featured in Nintendo's next Direct.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet, especially with the way they've been, handling their games and stuff. I'm guessing we'll see a better look at like golf and Switch Sports and maybe some other sports.
Yeah.
So I hope they don't rely too much on DLC because it can kind of feel. It's obviously not as exciting as a new game release, especially when it's games like Mario Strikers, where it feels like they should have launched with more content at the beginning. So, like, announcing Daisy as a character won't do much for me, because it's like, well, she should have been there originally.
Yeah, I sort of feel similarly. I'm the same way with Mario Kart in general, right? Like, there was, toward the start of the year, there was a big online kerfuffle about whether or not the next Mario Kart should have more, non-Mario characters in it. And, I understand both sides of the aisle, but, just as a filthy fence sitter myself, I kind of have to say, what difference does it make, But that's a can of worms for another day, maybe.
Yeah.
I'll go with another one that you probably also have. We'll hear something about the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that it's not going to be much, but it's going to be something significant enough to create buzz. Like, maybe a definite release date, or, finally revealing the title, something like that.
I'm hoping we get sort of like a story trailer, because Zelda games always have like the first trailer is kind of revealing the vibes and atmosphere of the game, and then there's like a big story trailer showing the cutscenes and the characters. So I'm hoping we'll get something like that, and then obviously it would really be nice to stop calling it the sequel to Breath of the Wild and actually have a title. I'm guessing it'll feel kind of weird though, because we've been calling it the sequel to Breath of the Wild for like 2 years now.
Well, yeah.
So it'll feel kind of weird.
Yeah, but we had been calling Breath of the Wild Zelda U for, I feel like, longer than that even.
Yeah.
So, the tide will change.
Next up, this is one I've been thinking. This has been a rumor since like 2018, but Metroid Prime Trilogy HD. I'm thinking that will happen. I know there's a lot of rumors about like a Metroid Prime remake of just the first one, but that doesn't really make sense to me. I mean, in some ways it does make sense because Nintendo always manages to surprise in strange ways, like remaking just the first one. But I feel like Prime Trilogy is already out there. It wouldn't be that hard to remake it, and it would be the perfect way to build hype for 4. So I think Metroid Prime Trilogy HD will finally happen.
At this point, I know, knock on wood, but I think it is safe to say we're going to hear some sort of news about Metroid Prime. I think a Prime Trilogy would be the smart move, especially if they release it soon after the presentation, like a month or a couple months after. Because, they've been working on Prime 4, or they've been reworking Prime 4, I should say, when they restarted development a couple years back. For a significant enough amount of time that we should start seeing some, progress on it.
Just like a teaser, something small.
Yeah, exactly. A teaser for Prime 4. And yeah, I do think whether it's that rumored Metroid Prime 1 complete ground-up remake or an HD re-release of Prime Trilogy, I also think, something like that coming soon is likely, and Prime 4, getting teased, would also, in tandem, even if it's like last year's E3, where Takahashi said, we're working on it, it's progressing nicely. In the meantime, here's something else Metroid-related, At Advance Wars Reboot Camp and Mario and Rabbids are both slated to come out this year. Neither of them have release dates. I'm predicting that, if Nintendo has a Direct this month, or, soonly, that both of those games will get release dates.
I would hope so. It's been a while since I feel like we've seen anything of Mario plus Rabbids.
Yeah, which is weird because it was initially slated for April of this year, but then one day, I don't even know why, the date got changed to, TBD, and we haven't seen or heard anything about it since.
I'm wondering if that will be like an August game, because I think the first one came out in August.
It did, yeah.
So do you think it would be closer to August or closer to the end of the year?
It's, probably closer to, the August, September, fall range, I bet. Seems like an appropriate time for it. I don't know if Mario and Rabbids is like, holiday material, but who knows.
And then Advance Wars. I wonder if they'll dedicate a whole month to Advance Wars, because wasn't it originally supposed to come out?
It was slated
April,
for December of 2021, but then it got delayed to April of this year. But then, even though the game is done, they delayed it because I suppose they thought it'd be controversial with the war currently happening in Europe, which, I don't fully understand because it's, it's sort of an unrelated thing, Call of Duty still gets its yearly releases, and it's a far grittier war simulator, but, whatever.
Yeah. I wonder if it will share a month with another game, because it seems like in April it was going to share it with Switch Sports. So I wonder if this time they will share it with another game, because usually it's like one game a month.
Yeah.
But where Advance Wars was already supposed to come out, I wonder if it'll be like at the beginning of October, and then something else will happen later on or something.
Here's hoping that it doesn't get, overshadowed by something, just far more appealing to the core Nintendo crowd. Because I really do think it would, it would be nice if it sort of did get a month to itself or a period of time to itself. Because then, because Fire Emblem is fairly big, and it's, another game of a similar ilk, so if people gave it a shot, then maybe it could garner some sales, garner some attention, and become a mainstay series again.
That would be awesome, yeah. Let's hope it's not Advance Wars, and then the next week, Breath of the Wild 2. I guess that would mean it would have to be delayed into 2023, so never mind.
That'd doubly stink.
Okay, I'll come up with another one here. Let's see. I had Silksong on the list, but that just appeared at the Xbox thing, so that's not really applicable anymore.
That was weird, man. That whole Xbox show in itself was weird. I won't go too much into it.
I'm thinking Donkey Kong. There was some Donkey Kong rumors a while back, and nothing really happened from it. And so I would hope that it would be a 3D Donkey Kong from the Mario Odyssey team, but honestly, I don't think that's like super likely. I would be awesome, and I wish it would be a 3D Donkey Kong game, but part of me feels like it'll probably just be another 2D one, which would also be confusing because would it be part of the Donkey Kong Country series or not? I don't know, but my prediction is just something Donkey Kong related.
Yeah, I also have a prediction on my list that reads, quote, "It's finally time for Donkey Kong." And I don't even say this because of the rumors. I just think that Donkey Kong is, one of Nintendo's more popular franchises, and it doesn't have any original games on the Switch so far, so, it would make sense that somebody at some point within Nintendo would have a Donkey Kong game ready soon. And yeah, as for the rumors, I don't lend a lot of credence to them. Because it's always those. I think Zippo was the name of the alias of the leaker who said that, it would be 2D, but wouldn't carry the country moniker. And it's just, I feel like you add details like that when you're a quote-unquote leaker to make it sound like you know more than you do. Whereas as far as I'm aware, people who actually, work at Nintendo say, no, we don't even know when they announce Directs. We don't know anything.
Yeah, it's funny. The whole leak culture thing is pretty funny.
Yeah. I do think we'll see something about Donkey Kong soon. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was 3D. It's because then you have to wonder, right? The Mario Odyssey team, EPD8, what have they been working on since Mario Odyssey,
I hope it would be so awesome because Kirby had a really, really, really great jump to 3D with Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So if that could happen with Donkey Kong, that would just be amazing.
I think we might get some news related to the Mario movie. Last in the September of last year, they revealed the voice cast, which was it's created quite a bit of buzz. I've still got a lot of normie friends not in the know with the Nintendo scene, who make jokes about Chris Pratt voicing Mario.
Yeah, it was probably the biggest moment from that Direct, which is funny. Yeah, I think it'd be awesome to get a look at the movie. Maybe a short trailer or something. I just really want to hear Chris Pratt attempting to be Mario. I'm just so fascinated with what direction he's going to take. Like, is he going to try and imitate what Charles Martinet has done? Or is he just going to sound like Chris Pratt normally talking? I mean, it's so weird.
And it's, the jaded movie observer side of me has a feeling it's going to be Chris Pratt doing a, Blues Clues Wiggles kind of child-friendly voice. But
yeah, I can see that happening.
We'll have to wait and see. I don't have any expectations for the Mario movie. I don't think it's, I haven't even bothered watching the Sonic the Hedgehog movies. I'm just, I'm not the demographic for those. I don't even want to bother,
Yeah, for sure. And that movie got delayed to 2023 too, right? So
yes, it did. Yes.
If it was supposed to come out this year, I'd be shocked that we haven't heard from it yet. But the fact that it got delayed to next year, it's like, okay, so around this time of this year would be a good time for like a first trailer or something.
Yeah, maybe. Or, some promotional stills even. Just screenshots from the movie to see what the designs are.
Yeah, just see what it looks like.
Yeah.
I think that would be interesting, to say the least. It would be interesting. So, as we've been talking about, sequel to Breath of the Wild got delayed to 2023. And there was a thing a while back where it's like the Zelda team wants to have a new Zelda game every year about. So
right,
I think it's finally time for Twilight Princess Wind Waker 2-pack coming sometime in the fall to hold people over until the sequel.
2-pack might be a little generous there.
Yeah, I know. The reason I'm saying 2-pack is just because of the fact that they've both already been remastered, So it's like, and I mean, realistically, it'll probably just be like Wind Waker or something. But I want to give Nintendo like a tiny bit of a chance to be like, okay, you have Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD, they're on the Wii U, they're ready to go. And then Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask are playable through the N64 online thing. So it's like, this would be the perfect opportunity to just finish all the 3D Zelda games on Switch. And yeah, so I'm hoping that will happen. But I would not be surprised if it was just one of the games for full price.
The pessimist in me says each of them for $60. 10 like the Skyward Sword situation.
Yeah.
But they could come around and do both of them for $60, which some people would probably still take umbrage with, but But then we'd say, imagine if they did each separately. Nintendo fans would still buy it. So
yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
All the classic arguments, the cycle of Twitter arguments would begin again.
Yeah, I know. And yeah, I agree with you. I think some sort of a filler Zelda release for this year is fairly likely. I think we're going to get some sort of a new game attached to the NSO expansion pass. Not like, the systems, like obviously the Game Boy systems were data mined a while back. I don't think, if it's a June Direct, I don't think they'd reveal those yet, because they tend to do that around, like, September, around the end of the year. When it's time to renew the online subscription.
Very specific timing with that one.
Yeah, well, that's how it's been so far. Obviously it's a fool's errand to hold Nintendo to a pattern, but it's just what I'm thinking. I'm thinking specifically it'll be a game. I don't know if you heard, but recently there was some sort of a news story. This is kind of in the leaks rumors territory, but this is so, specific and outlandish that I'm inclined to think it's real. Nintendo EPD4 have apparently been working on a 1-2 Switch sequel for a couple of years now.
Oh, yeah. I did see this, yeah.
Yeah, but in testing, in R&D, people have just really hated it. Like it's apparently described as being like Jackbox games, where it incorporates your phone, but the games are just tedious and not fun, and the online lobbies don't work. And apparently the mascot character is a guy in a horse mask, and the testers nicknamed the game, probably gonna censor this, but horse shit.
That sounds like a sequel to 1-2 Switch, all right.
It does, and I imagine if it's like a guy with a horse head, then it's like, is Nintendo finally catching up to the Tom Ska, Halloween horse head meme from, a decade ago? It's like, that does sound embarrassing.
Behind the times.
Yeah.
So you think that'll be added to some sort of Switch Online thing?
I think so. It would be a primarily online experience, right? And apparently, Nintendo liked to use the whole buffalo, as it were. They released Mario Tennis Ultra Smash.
Yeah.
I feel like, obviously, I don't think the game will be all that bad as the rumor describes, but I do think that they will have some sort of an online party game experience that is specifically that you get free with, subscribing to the NSO expansion pass.
I could totally see that happening, especially if, their research is showing that it won't stand alone by itself, which honestly, the first game didn't stand alone by itself either. But if the second one is somehow even worse, I could easily see them putting it on Switch Online to try and build up, because it seems like they're constantly trying to build up reasons of why you should subscribe. So that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, and even if not that, then, like Donkey Kong 99 or whatever, there are other avenues they could explore. NES Remix Online even would be a good one to do.
Yeah, that would make sense. Okay, I got another one here. This is another 3DS remake. I guess sometimes I just want to replay old games over and over and over again. That's how you know I'm a Nintendo fan. But
right on.
Kid Icarus Uprising HD would be amazing. I think that would be so great because that game is just incredible, and it's the only thing about it that's slightly not perfect is the controls, because the 3DS is just not made for that sort of kind of like a twin stick shooter.
Yeah.
But bringing it over to the Switch with the Pro Controller, it would work so well, and the visuals would be upgraded. Like, the upgraded visuals would look so great on a HD console. I think it would just be perfect.
I think it would be perfect as well. I do hold out hope that Kid Icarus Uprising in particular will get remastered on, an actual, like, home console. And the Switch would be the perfect place to do it because, it sort of gives otherwise not popular franchises a new lease on life,
Mm-hmm. It's like that Kid Icarus was dormant for so long, and then they brought it back, and it was amazing. And it's like, I just want to give that franchise... Yeah, I just want to give that franchise another chance to prove itself,
Kid Icarus Uprising is definitely the holy grail. It's the white whale of 3DS games to get remastered, for sure.
Totally.
Now, Intelligent Systems, they have at least one game release every year. Like, for as long as they've been around, that's sort of been the case. And since 2019, when they started doing Switch games, it's been one a year, right? So they've had Fire Emblem in 2019, Paper Mario in 2020, WarioWare in 2021. So this year, Advance Wars, even though they made the original, Way Forward are the ones making Reboot Camp. I'm going to guess it'll be, a Fire Emblem game, like a remake. People were talking about the possibility of a remake of Genealogy of the Holy War. Makes about as much sense to me as anything. I'm not super in tune with the Fire Emblem franchise, but it gets releases frequently enough. I mean, it's getting a Warrior spin-off this year already, so I wouldn't be surprised if they announce a new Fire Emblem game coming in the second half of this year. And if not, then I'd guess like a remaster of some other sort of obscure, or I should say less iterated on Intelligent Systems franchise, like maybe Pushmo World or Codename Steam, if only.
Yeah.
Yeah, my official prediction, whatever Intelligent Systems has in store for this year, we'll see at this Direct, assuming it exists.
That sounds pretty good. I think a Fire Emblem game sounds like a good idea. It'd be interesting to see something like Codename Steam, because didn't that game, it did not do very well, if I'm...
It did not. It flopped super duper hard. And I honestly don't understand why. Like, maybe it just wasn't marketed well. Maybe the, box art doesn't look the most appealing. Nintendo wasn't doing hot in 2015. But I've played the game from start to finish, and I love it. I love it to bits. So I have a feeling if it got a new, shot on a new system, it might be able to garner more attention.
Totally. That sounds awesome. Okay, my next prediction is weirdly specific, and it sounds kind of weird, but if it's true, then I got it. I think we'll get Splatoon 3 trailer, but specifically the idol reveal of the two idols for the game. And even more specifically, I think they will both be males, and I think one of them will be a robot.
That's a good bet, actually. I have a similar thought in my head, actually. I've had this thought since around the time Splatoon 2 was new. I actually think my official prediction regarding Splatoon 3 is that we'll see a full, round of turf war in the treehouse, assuming that's a thing. But I'll add on to your prediction and say I predict it won't be 2 idols, it'll be a whole boy band.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because that's, exemplary of the era, that Thrasher, early 2000s youth culture thing Splatoon has going on. An NSYNC or Backstreet Boys parody.
Yeah, I think it's time we see the idols who will annoyingly deliver the news every single time you boot up the game. It's like it's an important part of the game's identity. So I think it's time we see them.
Right on. That's a good prediction. I like that one. As particularly that one of them will be a robot. That's also, I can totally see that being a thing too.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels right to me.
All right, we've gotten through basically everything I've written down in terms of official predictions. Oh, except for one. I meant to mention this earlier, but I think that Bayonetta 3 will be delayed into next year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That game has been delayed. I mean, it's never been officially delayed that many times, but it has to have been delayed multiple times in development because it was announced in, 2017, which is crazy.
And it seems as though Platinum has sort of been spreading themselves thin as of late because, they had the whole Kickstarter campaign to fund new projects, starting with Wonderful 101. They did the Babylon's Fall game for PlayStation 5, which was really undercooked, so...
Yeah.
Who knows what's going on with them, but, it seems as though Bayonetta 3 is coming along fine, although it probably has had some development hiccups. I'm guessing it's going to be delayed into next year, regardless.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
All right, have you got any hopes, any no-holds-barred things you just wish to see from the bottom of your heart at this hypothetical direct?
Oh, man, that's a good one. Usually my go-to would be Switch Sports Resort. But that kind of happened at like 30% happened with Switch Sports. So
I don't know, maybe they could add a free update that brings in a hub world, something to sort of meet you halfway.
That would be amazing. Okay, that'll be my hope. Is a Woohoo Island DLC where you can go to Woohoo Island and, freely explore, play the old sports. That would be amazing.
That would be nice. For me, it's wanting to see some sort of... I've got, my favorite Nintendo franchises tied, are F-Zero and Custom-Robo. I'd love to see either one of them come back. F-Zero, I think, would please the most amount of people because, everybody is sort of aware of it, and it's, it's infamy of not having a new game in a long time.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. And of course, ARMS 2.
ARMS 2, yeah. That would be good. ARMS, yeah, I hope they don't let ARMS become one of those franchises that was just a one and done. I really hope they give it another chance.
Yeah, it's got more going on under the surface than, what meets the eye. And I really do hope, if we get a sequel, I love that stuff being sort of hidden away from the main game experience, sort of like the way Splatoon does it with the scrolls. But I also do think, at this point, I've been reluctant about it before, but at this point I'm starting to come around to the idea of having a quote-unquote story mode for ARMS.
Just so that...
to clue more people in.
Yeah, just to get people more invested. I think that'd probably be a smart idea.
And, and to add on to that hope, I'd say I just want to know what the heck Nintendo EPD9 has been working on since ARMS ended updates.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
In all likelihood, they have been working on a new Mario Kart. But I think it's safe to say at this point that it will come out on Nintendo's next system,
Yeah, I think the Booster Course Pass is probably the last nail in the coffin for Mario Kart 9. But I do think that a new F-Zero could kind of fill that need for a new racing game on the Switch.
I've thought that since they announced Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I've thought that since even before the Nintendo Switch came out, that this would be the perfect platform to reboot F-Zero on, or revive F-Zero on, I should say. Pretty recently, like last year or a couple of years ago, a lot of prominent, figureheads in the F-Zero series have sort of talked about how, they haven't done anything with it in a while and all that. I think even recently, Reggie Fils-Aimé was interviewed about his new book and said something about how he wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo brought F-Zero back soon.
That would be awesome.
But all these figureheads, none of them are really attached to Nintendo anymore. The character designer and a programmer, Takuya Imamura, retired a couple years ago. And the producer of GX, Nagoshi, worked with Sega, but now he works with some other Chinese company. So, like, I don't even know.
Yeah, it's hard to know. That would be awesome.
It's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to track.
For sure. I'd love to see a new F-Zero game. That'd be awesome.
So yeah, is there anything else you'd like to say before we go? We got through this faster than I expected, honestly.
Yeah, I'm good. I think I hit most of the highlights on my list, covered a lot of the things I'd like to see. So I'm good.
Well, right on. Well, thanks for coming on the show, Nintendo Hero. Where can the people find you?
Yeah.
What's your YouTube channel? What's all that?
Just on YouTube, Nintendo Hero, should be able to find it. I make, YouTube Nintendo-themed YouTube videos, and I'm pretty sure I'm the only person to do that on the platform. So if that interests you, check it out. Thanks for having me on. This was tons of fun.
Oh, hey, well, thanks for coming on. I had an equal amount of fun, if not more so. So yeah, see you around, and to you lovely people, hopefully we'll see you in a relatively short turnaround time to talk about a actual confirmed Nintendo Direct. So, bye-bye.
See ya.